mean, you've been doing this for 20 years, right? So 20 some odd years, corporate sales life, from selling yourself to leading gigantic teams. And you decided to start Sales Platoon roughly, I think it was, what are we at now? Maybe 18 months. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So
yeah, about 2 years almost now. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sales Platoon serves as a skill bridge for transitioning veterans into civilian life to help them land an awesome sales job and also train them an apprenticeship, right? Doing actual sales work, not just sitting in video trainings to help them do that. So what's the story behind 20 years in sales and then deciding to build this organization?
Yeah, well, some of it was in need. So on one side, when you do a 20-year career, you find out the things you love and hate, right? You find out the things that you love about being a sales VP and the things you work your way up, like you have. You're president now, right? You worked your way up from AE to president. I worked my way up from AE to SVP of sales, right? So, and you figure out the things you love. The thing that I always loved was when I taught somebody to sell the first time. I mean, yeah, I loved skills. I loved helping companies, but I get a lot more out of helping somebody and teaching them. Like when I took a rep when I went to a company, like I went to MarketWire and I had 3 reps that I was told needed to go. And I was like, says who? I've never worked with them. I'm not gonna let them. And, I had told them, hey, I'm going to get really involved in your life in the next 90 days. And you can make a choice. It's Thursday afternoon now. This is the dope on you. And, I'm going to get really involved in your life in the next 90 days. Or I'm willing to completely exit out of your life in the next 90 days. I just want to know if you want me to help you or not. If you want the help, 90 days, I'm going to be all over you and I'm going to teach you everything I know about sales. If you don't want it, great. Let me know so we can start looking for the next person. I won't even fire you. We'll keep you on payroll. Because I knew, it's like, and 2 of the people took me up on it. Those 2 of those people, and I won't mention their names because they're still very active out there, but 2 of those people did that. We got really involved in them. One's now a national sales director. The other one is now leading a team of his own. It's like they became high performers. They just hadn't had somebody that spent the time with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the passion for me was like, Darren Walters, a CRO over at Pantheon now. He's been one of our Lunch and Learn speakers in the past. He's one of the best mentors of all time. And he just said, look, leaders don't create followers, leaders create other leaders. And it's something shifted for me from being a guy who hit his quota and was crushing it and making big checks and, living a nice life to teaching people truly how to sell. And I loved that. I loved doing that. And the higher you go in an organization, the less of that you get to do. By the time you're an SVP of sales, you're in a strategic role, big companies, big company relationships. But it's strategy. You're thinking a year out, 3 years out, not how do I take John and Molly and teach. And so I started, as just almost 4 years ago, just doing consulting. And I was like, it's not quite it. And then I got into leadership training for a while and I was like, yeah, but not quite, it's cool, but it's not exactly. And then one day I was on a run by Navy Pier and I thought, there's got to be something to help our military get into sales roles. And I went and started doing research and I found 2 or 3 companies that said they did it. And like I just mentioned, that was my sum review of them is they've never built anything. They're not salespeople. They're not sales leaders. They bastardizing some old, sales training and throwing a camouflage logo on it and saying, now you're certified. And then they're charging the veterans between $7,000 and $15,000, tapping into their GI Bill or making them do income share agreements, and it's like, or even worse, they're not charging them and they're pretending like they're training them, but they don't even know enough to know they're not training them. And so then they put them in the marketplace. And so as I started to do this in the first iteration of Sales Platoon, I called in an organization, again, won't be named. And I said, hey, I'm really, here's what we do at Sales Platoon. Here's our candidates. Same pitch I gave you, right? This is why they're with us 12 weeks live, 160 hours of instructionally designed material. Plus they're embedded on a sales team. They're learning LinkedIn, HubSpot, Sales Navigator, all that, right? And I said, and so I went through a whole thing, got through the final decision maker, and the financial buyer and person got in the phone. And I was like, yeah, this is what it costs. And they go, we already tried this before. It didn't work. We invested $100,000 in, 6 people and, we had to fire 5 of the 6. And I was as angry as you'll ever see me. Not at them. I was very, I'm sorry you had that experience. It was because they didn't say this company didn't know how to train these people. They said, yeah, we tried hiring military veterans. It didn't work. And I thought, get out of my lane. It was, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I know.
just,
The moment I know you and I thrive on is when somebody tells us we can't do something. And then it's like, okay, well, here we go. There's the fire for the next 18 months of my life.
yeah. Well, they're like, you can't possibly design. That's what they told me 2 years ago. You can't do this on your own. You can't get DoD skill bridge approval. You're not going to be able to get Department of Labor approval. You're never going to get companies to pay for this. You're going to have to charge the veterans. You can't teach every class yourself. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. and that was really how it started. Part of it was like Jordan needs his Irving, right? The Irving walk off after they lost to the Bulls in the championship. But there's that need, man. If you're a sales manager, you know how hard it is to find high quality talent. And if you're a military veteran, you know how hard it is to find the next right role. What you're not thinking about is, how do I do that over a 12-week period to have both? Because we burn out of about 20% of our people that show up and go, yeah, I'm in. And they had all the right behavioral interview and all the right stuff. And they go, I don't want to be in sales. And I go, that's great. You figured it out during the 12 weeks with us, not when you're at Guerrero Media.